What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary reaction video. As you guys probably already know about the breaking news, I'm curious to get you guys insight, perspective, and thoughts as I let off minds as we watch this video. So with no further ado, let's go.
LeBron and I did not talk about the Lakers job until Thursday afternoon, about 30 minutes after I was offered the job.
30 minutes after he was offered the job. Do you guys believe that, family?
Hey, this old school NBA fan like I.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Sean David and I welcome you to the Basketball Time Machine, your weekly dose of old school NBA basketball. Now, today's episode, we're going to talk about something, it's not real old school, but it shows why back in the days was better. Anyway, now most of you guys know that JJ Redick is now officially the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, and I think that his hiring is a perfect example why the NBA nowadays is broken. But before I give you my opinion about the whole thing, let me ask you guys for a small favor. If you're new to the show, please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoy the content. And I would say,
Do you believe, family? Do you guys think the old NBA is better than today's NBA? I believe so. As I learn and educate myself and react to videos and get insight and thoughts, definitely going down a Larry Bird rabbit hole is amazing. I enjoy it. I enjoy his game, learning how impactful him and Magic Johnson was to the game of basketball and what value they brought. It speaks a lot of volumes.
let's get it started. Now look, we all experience the same thing. You don't have to be a great player in order to be a great coach. Now we had so many examples where you had players who didn't even make it to the NBA, still became successful NBA coaches, some of the greatest of all time. And we also had the examples that some of the greatest players of all time became bad coaches. So the whole thing about JJ Redick has nothing to do with that. But
I wonder if he's going to say it's because JJ Redick's resume is so slim. Like no experience whatsoever, just basketball player experience, 15 years in the NBA.
there are some other points that I personally feel are completely wrong in terms of he never should have become the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers at that point right now. So the first thing that I want to talk about is paying your dues. Now, we have so many coaches, former NBA players who not only had a better playing career, as I said, that's not the main criteria, but players who paid their dues in terms of being assistant coaches, waiting for their shot to become a head coach. The first example that I want to talk about is Sam Cassell, a player that I really loved back in the days because of his very high basketball IQ, was not the quickest guard of all time, but a very smart clutch player. Now, he has been an assistant coach for so many years and still did not get a shot of becoming the head coach. And my thing is, every single player that made it to the NBA had to pay their dues to become a player. Now, why doesn't the same thing have to happen for becoming a coach? And it doesn't even have to be a coach in the NBA, but at least a professional coach. It may be overseas in a year for a European team or something. But the qualification.
Okay, so basically he's saying for any caliber of being a coach, from a professional standpoint, there has to be a criteria in earning your respects and earning your way there and starting by working your way up.
That JJ Redick has, to me, is just not enough. And I know we also had some examples of other players that became head coaches, like Jason Kidd, for example. Steve Nash. And even though Jason Kidd became a great coach still I thought he should have paid his dues as a coach. I just think that this is the way how it should be done. Especially when we're talking about jobs where you earn multiple millions of dollars, you got to pay your dues, and the qualification doesn't come just by being a great player. I mean, we have seen so many great players who failed as a coach. So that's number one. And just in addition, just being a podcaster, talking X and O's, sorry, that's not the qualification that I want to see in an NBA head coach. And I think it should be Sam Cassell's turn first and some other guys. Anyway, that was my point number one. Number two, and that is something that I really hate, How can somebody become the head coach of the NBA who is so disrespectful to the history of the league? JJ Redick on his podcast.
I know JJ Redick has some very, very, very strong remarks, with Larry Bird and, oh, man, let's see where he goes with it.
Multiple times insulted some of the greatest players of all time, which shows me that even though some things have advanced, some things players nowadays are better than old school players, but if somebody is actually calling guys like Jerry West and Bob Cousy and even players from the 70s plumbers, shows me that this guy does not only respect the history of the game, but also does not know how far fundamentals take a player. There is no doubt in my mind that players today jump higher, that they are maybe better shooters. And with that point, I always have a difficult time saying that because
I believe players not only jump higher and are better shooters, but they can score more. Like Larry Bird recalled in one of his sayings was, they remember when 20 points was hard to make, hard to get, 20 points per game. Now, dudes dropping 30, 40, you know what I'm saying? They're scoring more.
Players nowadays have a lot more space, and it's easier to shoot an open shot than if you have somebody guarding you like crazy with hand checking.
Adelphi University.
Yeah, that is true. Guarding you crazy with hand checking.
So that is even a point where I'm not 100% sure if it's better nowadays. But that players today in today's NBA are more athletic, there's no doubt in my mind. So I give today's players that. But if you tell me that you don't believe that guys like a Larry Bird or a Jerry West would still be great players in today's NBA, that shows me that you don't know how far basketball IQ goes and how good fundamentals are. There are players like Luka Doncic and
the Joker,
Nikola Jokic, who are not physically gifted at all, but it's their basketball IQ which makes them so outstanding, even though the physical attributes are missing. And you want to dismiss that point? And if you don't know what JJ Redick has said in the past, take a look.
Because the 80s is so much different. There's physicality, the way they guarded people. You couldn't.
Dougie, I've been trying to make a point.
Seriously,
I've been trying to make a point for you, Dougie.
Has Paul ever been first team All-NBA?
Did Bob Cousy ever shoot over 40% from the field?
Well,
in his
we
career?
Understand that.
Did
You're
he
right.
overshoot? Did he ever shoot over 40%?
Probably 39, 40%. Different kind
Not
of game.
once.
It's
Not
fair.
once.
That's fair. You also had 29 assists in an NBA game.
Oh, well, he was being guarded by plumbers and firemen.
You didn't watch. You weren't alive when these games were being.
Plumbers and firemen. What the world, bro? Back in the NBA, they had to earn their keep, I feel like. And if you ain't earn it, you're going to get benched.
Played? Did you see Bird play against the Lakers in '84? Did you see Bird against the Rockets in '86? Were you at courtside watching these games? No. You got to watch the games at the time. Okay. Watching them on YouTube 40 years later.
JJ Redick, current player who just recently retired, said that Bob Cousy played against firemen and plumbers, and Bob came on and wasn't too pleased. And, you played in that era, and those guys set the table for us to be where we are today. And I was just interested in your thoughts on comments like that about your generation and the generations that paved the way.
Well, obviously the game is completely different. The athletes are completely different. And I know JJ just a little bit. He's a very smart kid and everything. Look, tell me what his career looked like.
I was just about to say that, man. What is JJ career look like? What is he, a spot-up shooter?
What did he do that was
so spectacular?
That determined games?
First of all, Redick don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm going to say it, right?
I agree.
He don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm like, what basketball was you watching? To say something as idiotic as that is ridiculous. The physicality that was a part of the league. Hey, look, when you can put your hand on a guy's hip and make him go a certain way, if you can put that elbow in his chest to slow him up, which we call slowing a guy up when you coming down the lane, so how many guys can deal with that type of pressure? And for JJ Redick, who played this game, I'm very disappointed that he has said something so stupid.
So when I hear those claims and those things, it just rubs me the wrong way. And now I saw that he starts apologizing to certain players. But hey, we all know that this is a lie. He's just saying that because somebody's
saying that because he doesn't want to look wrong in the public eye, and he know that he did mess up, and he just using that to sort of have for people to forgive him for what he said. But he said what he said. And usually initially, when most people say things the first time, they actually mean it. And the only time they retract back on what they said is because they don't want to look bad in the public eye.
Tells him, hey, say that, makes you look better. But in his heart of hearts, he believes the stuff that he said. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And the last point, which really rubs me the wrong way, is the whole thing with LeBron James and him. It shows how much power LeBron James has. And to me, call it old school, but I think at the end of the day, the organization should be the umbrella, should be the ones with the power. They should make the decisions, and the players should trust the organization. And that's how the whole thing should go. It should never be a player that dictates the whole thing. And I know that at the end of the career, Jordan also said that he would leave if the Bulls would not resign Phil Jackson. I know the whole thing, so I'm not blind to that. But to me, again, if I take a look at Jordan's career, how much influence he always tried to pull in comparison to what LeBron James does, to me, LeBron James is basically doing the entire GM work. And a player should never have that much power. And that JJ Redick honestly says that, I mean, you saw the clip. He honestly says that he and LeBron never talked before the offer came in. So the first thing you're going to do, JJ, is lie into the camera again? Terrible.
LeBron and I did not talk about the Lakers job until Thursday afternoon, about 30 minutes after I was offered the job. And that was very intentional on both our parts. You know, I knew I had an understanding that he did not want to be involved in this.
Intentional on y'all parts. Well, how can anything be intentional on y'all parts, and you not want him to? And he didn't want no parts of being involved in it, but y'all still discussed it 30 minutes after. If you don't want to be involved, period, there's no intent to take place, because what are you intentionally doing to make yourself not involved? Because if you don't involve yourself, you don't involve yourself. That just don't make sense. So, look, man, what I can say is I do agree, and I ask you guys this question. LeBron should not have that much influence. And comment down below if you disagree, and comment down below if you agree. Do you believe that LeBron should have that much influence or not as a player? I believe LeBron should not have that much influence because he's looking at the moment of now. And the franchise need to be looking at the long term of the franchise after LeBron. Because then what are they going to do? They're stuck with the pieces that LeBron influenced them to get. You know what I'm saying?
And for me, I didn't want to go down the path of hypotheticals.
Now, look, I am always happy for people if they get a shot at a great job. But I think especially in professional sports, there is a pecking order and you got to deserve certain things. And to me, JJ Redick did not deserve to get the head coaching job. One of the best paid coaching jobs in the world. He did not deserve to get it.
I feel like he's just saying like he don't have the credentials. I think he may be the coach with the slimmest resume in history to get that head coach job.
I got to be honest, I'm not rooting for the Lakers at all this season. I mean, I haven't been rooting for them for quite some time because today's players don't remind me of what the Lakers actually used to stand for. The Lakers, to me, always had an identity, players who really identified themselves with the franchise. I don't see that anymore, so the Lakers are not a team that I cheer for. But with that whole combination, sorry, but that's just another reason why LeBron James will not win a title, and I'm totally fine by that. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think, and hopefully see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.
Well, family, there we go. Curious to give you guys perspective, insights, and thoughts. You guys got mine. Let the love supersede the hate. Spread that peace, love, and positivity. Until next time, family, peace.